Hi everybody, welcome to another Outdoor Lifestyle Magazine video podcast. I'm really excited to have Teri-lyn Greer on our podcast today, and we're going to be learning a bit about Teri-lyn, who is a design and build company. Her company is Greer Design Group, based in Southern Ontario. And Terry's going to tell us about their company, how she got into the business, how they navigate COVID at the moment. And then at the end of the video, we're going to see a little bit of her work, so before and after. And without further ado, I want to welcome Teri-lyn to our podcast. Hi, Teri-lyn.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Pretty good.
I like your background. I judge people on their backgrounds. And yours is pretty good. I like it.
Well, thank you. I'm fine.
You got your Zoom game.
Yeah.
Okay,
good.
No cats or anything. I've had cats come in the back of the background and dogs and stuff like that. So I think we're safe. Yeah,
okay. I can go get my dog if you like.
No, leave your dog where the dog is.
Okay.
No, it's really awesome. So it's great to talk to you. During these kind of strange times we have, but I think it was as we everybody knows in the outdoor lifestyle sector, it's been a busy year in 2020 and 2021, and going forward is looking like it's going to be busy too, based on people wanting to spend time in their backyard. So I presume you've seen that kind of whole increase in business too.
Yeah, this year has been the busiest year we've had in at least 20 years, I would say. And it's still busy. We're in January 27th, and it's still like a spring rush right now.
Got it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it looks like that's going to kind of carry forward. We don't know how long the bump will go on for, but it just seems that as we speak to people in the industry, that a lot of people who've been sitting on the fence or thinking about, upgrading the backyard space, 2020 and COVID has pushed them over the edge to just jump in and do it. And especially pools. You guys build pools. That business has grown, right?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's just because now everybody's at home, right? They want to have that extension more so than ever in their outdoor spaces. And if you're going to be home, you might as well renovate interior, exterior. So it's kind of a flow for both, right? Everybody wants a pool. So with the pool comes the patios, the outdoor kitchens, the built-in barbecues, the water features. So it all kind of ties together when you're going to do a pool in the backyard, definitely.
Yeah. Everybody's just looking for that kind of staycation, outdoor, a cottage in your backyard, whatever phrase you want to use. That seems to be what people are looking for. And I'm looking forward to showing off some of the design. We've got a 2D design, we'll call it, and then we have a 3D rendering as well, which I think is interesting for people to know that's the kind of a service you provide as well, to show people actually what their backyard is going to look like. I think that's everybody loves 3D designs, So let me just kind of rewind a little bit, because we love to intro new people to our audience, and people are really they love to hear about designers and construction professionals and all sorts of people in our sector. So tell us a bit about your company, what services you provide, and also geographically, like where do you work? Where do you guys work?
So we provide the landscape designs and the 2D and the 3D. I'd say our service area, I try to stick closer to Dundas. So Waterdown, Ancaster, Carlisle, Burlington. Did I say Ancaster? Yeah. And kind of on the edge of Oakville. So, and sometimes maybe Mississauga, it depends on the size of the project. So.
Got it. And you guys, just so people understand, you guys design for a client. So you consult with a client, you design, maybe talk a little bit through the process, but you actually build as well. So you're the whole complete package, right?
Well, so I'm design, Greer. So we do the plans, but I do work with multiple contractors, like local in the area. So I'm working with those contractors and the clients as well.
How does it work in terms of, the touch points from you to your client, then the partners you use, I presume, like construction companies, to the end? So how does that kind of work?
So we'll plan the landscape plan, and then we'll get the space planning done, the whole plan, the master plan. And then with that, we'll have the areas. So we'll know how big certain areas are and certain things, and kind of have a preliminary budget and price point for everything. And then depending on, I guess it would be time frame and schedule, I work with 3 local contractors. So we'll kind of submit the bids to all of them and get them to give a tender and price point. But they're pretty much all within the same price point. It's basically what their schedule is and who's available. And right now with the high volume, it's tricky. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So I
Mhm.
bet you're just kind of juggling balls at the moment in terms
Yeah,
of
so
everybody's
it all
busy.
it all depends who's available really at this point. But the service, like the quality of workmanship is all there.
Yeah, yeah,
Everybody's local. So I try to
got
stay
it.
as local as possible.
Yes,
And then I think the construction aspect. So normally I think when a client starts with design with me, a lot of times they stay right through the entire process. And so then they also have the option to, when the construction starts, I work with the contractor. So
got
behind
it.
the scenes, all of our product is picked, all of our stone is picked, colors, everything, details for structures, that sort of stuff. And anything that kind of comes along. So if they have design questions or construction questions, they can ask me. But we always have kind of a site supervisor on site all the time.
Yes,
But I'm usually there and I'll check daily and
yes. So you're
kind of it's consulting.
yeah, you're consulting, bit of project management. So
Yeah,
you're kind of you're in the
yeah,
background there, just kind of making sure everything is moving along, and that's what comes with great relationships with, I assume, with these construction companies. You don't just deal with
yeah.
any construction company. I would kind
No,
of assume you've built up trust,
no.
prestige over the years, and also I always think in business, what's really important is how do people handle the curveballs, mistakes or whatever, it could be
And
anything.
that happens.
Of
So
course, yeah.
a lot of the people I've been with, I've had 10 to 20-year relationships with in
Yes.
build. So I entrust in them and entrust them with the client and vice versa. So it's
Got it.
kind of like an umbrella. So
Yes.
we all work together, and at the end of the day, we just want them to have a good
Got it.
space and
Got
be
it.
happy.
So I think it's just important for people to understand, and I spoke a little bit about that at the start of the video, is to understand there's different types of businesses. There's some designers who just never get involved with a build. They hand the
Mhm.
design back to the client, and then there's other people who will kind of want to see
Yeah.
their design through, and then there's other companies who kind of do design build. So that's really really interesting how you manage that,
Yeah.
and you're there until the end.
Yeah, and I enjoy the whole process.
Yes,
Like it's
seeing it
one thing to
come
have a
alive.
2D on paper,
Yeah,
and then building it into 3D. And a lot of times, you put 3D beside the actual finished project. It's pretty wild how
yeah,
similar
yeah, yeah.
it does look.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
I love 3D now, where it's just amazing.
Yeah.
It's just a slam
And then you
dunk.
see it all come together, right?
Yeah,
And then when you're drawing the spaces and you're designing the spaces, you'll think of things differently too.
got it.
How it's more feasible, and you'll catch mistakes
I
kind of
understand.
before they happen.
Before they happen.
And we all do. That does
Mm.
happen.
Yep.
But yeah, you don't want to miss 100 square feet or 200 square feet on a patio or something
No, not
like
good.
that. But in the
Not good.
beginning, yeah, and stuff like that does happen. So
Yeah, of course.
yeah,
I think as well. I'm sure when you do your designs, or when you submit them and everybody's happy, and then as you're watching the design kind of coming along, if you're still on top of things and on site whenever you need to be or whatever,
yep,
you can see if something's kind of going to work the way you envisaged it, or if it needs a tweak or something like that. So I think that's really
yeah,
important, rather than
and
at the very
you'll
end.
check things. Yeah, you will check things. You'll check stone thicknesses,
Yeah.
heights, how they're set, how it overlays,
Yes.
things as simple as countertops,
Got it. Yeah.
widths, and
Absolutely.
so that you're not cutting and you're not wasting.
Yeah.
You don't want that extra cut, because I look at stuff like that too.
Got it.
Very detailed,
Yeah.
how things
Absolutely.
are done.
It all just comes through kind of years of experience, right? It's all about, I think,
Yeah,
any industry. It's all about having
I
seen
have a bit
problems.
of a symmetry problem, a little bit of OCD. So,
All right, which is probably a good thing.
but most of my clients have a symmetry issue as well too. So it works out good.
Well, for a designer, I'm going to say that's probably an asset rather than a liability.
Yeah, yeah.
You like those lines to be nice and straight and all the angles to
I
be right.
know.
Yeah,
I know. I
that's
try curves. I do. I do, but they have like a perfect radius, a perfect measurement to them. So
got it.
even in build, they're a lot easier.
Got it. Yeah.
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 I'm probably not the best for very organic Zango.
You got it, got it. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
different design, different
Yeah.
different styles. I see some absolutely beautiful, angular designs, with just those straight lines, absolutely amazing. And I, see some
Mhm.
more of the curved projects with, the paving and the beds and even the pool. And I seen an
Yeah.
Instagram story on somebody the other day, and I thought it was interesting. And it was just a little poll that said, do you like curved pool or linear? And
Mhm.
I kind of pressed linear because I wanted to see what the results were. And 75% wanted the linear pool.
Yeah.
So it's just a little straw
That's where
poll.
it's at right now.
Yeah,
Everybody's going rectangular,
rectangular
modern.
with wide
Uh,
steps, the big wide steps as well.
yep. Yep. Going in the big long steps
Yeah,
and
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's very very linear, clean lines now. Very modern.
Paving, stone, all pavers, very, very kind of angular and stuff like that. Yeah, pretty,
Mhm.
pretty cool look, I must say. So tell us a little bit about how you start. How did you get into designing? How did you get into this industry? How did you arrive where you
Oh,
are today?
geez, we got to go way back here, eh?
That's okay. What attracted you to
um,
it?
well, okay. So, well, I guess in high school, I really liked environmental science. So we had a greenhouse and we would plant things, propagate, that sort of thing. And I like geography too. But at that time, guidance counselors, I think they tried to push you in a place to find a career path. But
Yeah.
I honestly had no idea what landscape design was, or if there was like a career in that. I would say it kind of started. So between high school and starting college, I got a job at a garden center
Uh,
in Cambridge. And I was working in the perennial house. And I think it was second year, one of the managers was taking the landscape design program at Fanshawe. And he said, I'm dropping out. He says, do you want to buy all my stuff? I think you should enroll. I think you'd enjoy it. And I was like, well, what's a landscape designer? Like, what is
what the
that?
heck is that?
Oh, well, you design spaces, you put plants and, and I was like, oh, okay. So that's how it kind of
Wow.
started. I applied to Fanshawe and yeah, and got into the program.
And you've never since kind of that early decision to get into it. You've just grown into it. It's just the passion's grown over the years. You've never thought of doing anything else.
Well, the garden center. So I finished working at the garden center, and then when my program was done, so I think it's 3.5 year program at Fanshawe Design. And then when that was completed, I thought, well, it's probably time for me to move on. Like I learned a lot about horticulture and plant material and stuff like that. So then I started at a small firm, small landscape company close to home,
Yeah.
back home. And basically they just said, okay, you went to college. Here's a clipboard. Here's Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Have a nice day. And yeah, it was pretty scary. And I didn't know anything. So basically I started designing smaller spaces and then doing the builds with a crew. There was 3 or 4 of us. So they were very early mornings and late nights, but
Yeah.
I'd say that's probably the hardest I've ever worked
Yeah.
physically.
Yes. Yes. I've been on site. It's physically. It's
Yeah, so
incredibly
I did
hard.
that for 3 years, and it was really good to be on site and to experience that
Mm.
side of
Oh,
what we do.
very valuable. Yeah, because it gives you an insight into
Yeah.
how it all works.
Yep. So garden center, I would say, yeah. And then when we did construction, the maintenance department, if they were short-handed, like for fall and spring cleanups, we would help out. So I learned a lot in maintenance too. And you think about those kind of things too when you're designing space
Yes.
too.
Very clever. Yes. Yes.
Grass, and then like larger spaces too.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
So you're thinking about maintenance. That's an interesting
Maintenance
perspective.
too, and the construction part of it
Yeah,
as well.
absolutely. Like the handoff to the customer and how they're going to manage the space going forward and what's feasible and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. So
So I did 3 years of construction and design. So that was really good. And then from there, I kind of made my way to Dundas and worked at a firm in Dundas for 2 years. And that was strictly design and consulting. And did that for 2 years. And then from there, I went on to another larger company and worked there for 10 years. So, and I was the design manager there. So I learned a lot there.
Yeah.
For policies, placements, that kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Yes. Yeah. And then literally just eventually just decided to just work for yourself, just do it yourself.
Yeah, well, it was a certain age, you get to a certain age, and then you're kind of like, should I jump off the luxury ship? And I had a great career, like professionally, and had a lot of perks, a lot of paid vacations, like I had it all.
Yep. Yeah.
But it's one thing I think as a designer, you want to branch, and you're an individual and you want to have your own
Got it.
name
Yeah.
in the industry.
Yep.
And yeah, you're going up against a lot of these companies still.
Yep.
But I think within the industry, people know you.
Yep.
So yeah, it's gonna be almost 10 years actually.
What we have here
Yeah.
is we have a number of photos, just so for people,
Mhm.
I can see the screen. Okay, so that's nice and big.
Okay.
So yeah, so we have a number of photos here. So I'm just going to flick through with you, and maybe you can just kind of explain where we're at here. And
Well, I picked this project even though we don't have decent after pictures yet. But this project was completed this year, so 2020. And the reason I kind of picked this one is just because it's more kind of my style, I would say. It's kind of got a timeless kind of layout look with the products that we use. Yeah, this site is in Ancaster. And I picked it too because it's multi-level and multi-layered, right?
Mm.
So you've got your swimming pool, you've got your fire feature with a nice little seat wall with some planters, some urns on there. Yeah, down below.
Yeah.
The terrace coming off, so you've got a nice dining table on there, the pizza oven.
Gotcha.
And built-in grill with a fridge, and I think we added something else in there. Up on there, and that upper terrace has some Edison lights kind of going across, and kind of obsession with Edison lights lately.
They're nice. They're nice.
And then we also have a spa, a hot tub. Over by the terrace area there. Oh, over here. Yep, at the top. And that's the cabana. The cabana here is really cute. It's brick. With some Melback siding on it, with some nice pillars. The cabana is actually centered to the terrace there. So if you go, the hot tub is up there. But and so this is where you can see for design. I always start with the center line. So to see the door, so the terrace door.
Yep.
The cabana is centered to that.
Gotcha.
So so most likely this plan, everything is centered to that space.
Gotcha.
I would have started with that, placed the pool, so you can see that seam, like the line across.
Yep.
With the cabana anchored in the pool. But yeah, there's a lot of elements, and there's some really nice iron, like kind of European lighting.
Yeah, so that's the 2D design, I would think.
So yeah, so we'll start with 2D. It's pretty detailed, has a detail on there as well. So this is the site before.
Yep.
We had a really nice existing deck. It was pretty much brand new, composite.
Yep.
Pretty flat, bocce ball set, brand new in there. The clients didn't put that there.
Okay.
And some existing trees we had kind of open to the neighbor's backyard. And it was pretty flat. I think we only had a 12-inch wall behind the bocce ball court. And then everything else was pretty much leveled. And then the back corner, that's where the grade went to there.
So next are these great 3D? Yeah,
so these were done in SketchUp. We can take them to another level too in another rendering program. But I think these work because the Lumium, like the rendering, takes a long time to take it to another level, which we do as well.
Gotcha. I'm just going to go through the. Sorry, I'm just going to.
Okay.
I'm just going to say I'm going to go through these because I know people will, as I'm kind of hovering, they'll kind of be like, "Oh, what else is there?"
So here's another thing. The fire pit is centered to the pool, obviously. Cool. A lot of times I'll use different stones, but they'll be in the same color palette. I'll never do black borders or something that really jumps out.
Yeah.
If anything, what I'll do is I'll change the product type. So
Yeah.
here we actually did a really nice cobble,
Yes.
but in the same color. It does pop a little bit there.
Nice.
Yep, you can see the raised terrace there,
Yep.
and some lights in the hot tub.
Nice.
Yeah,
There's
but
your
this is
dining
kind of,
area there, and you're talking about the pizza oven here, and the
yep,
grill. So you've literally got multiple kind of spaces in
yeah,
within the
multiple
space.
levels, different areas,
Yeah, so nice.
different spaces.
There's a kind of nice view to give people a
Yeah,
really good idea of.
and the brick, I love brick. Brick's
Yeah,
one of my favorite. You
got
know,
it.
but we matched the brick off the house. The house
Oh
is
right,
built
so you matched it on the steps
quite a
there.
while
I
ago.
see.
Yeah, and we faced the steps and
Nice.
the barbecue and everything, but we found the stone and it was hand done, and it came from South Carolina actually.
Oh wow.
So there is a lot of detail. Those are
Yes.
those things.
Yes, I can see that. That's beautiful. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
and
just
we
go
did add a
further.
bunch more stuff actually to the kitchen area. Yeah, and those lights look great. The sconces on the cabana
Yeah.
and in the lamp post.
Yeah.
I think we actually have 3 ones there now. They look really, really good. Yeah, so there's, I love those.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And you can see the brickwork. Yep.
Yeah, there's the brickwork there. Yeah. So this is another before.
Yeah, so that's where the
Yep.
hot tub would be
Yep.
with the kitchen.
Yep.
And we actually went all the way down to the side. We continued on. I'm pretty sure they'll probably do the front and everything else now they've done
Yeah.
the back. Yeah,
Gotcha.
there's Madison lights. I love those.
So there's the lights, and there's the
I
matching.
like putting them in all the drawings with the post. Like we did metal
Nice.
post there. All the accents here are black.
Yes.
But I find I'm using this a lot more. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the brick, which just going to blend so nicely into the
Yeah.
as we
And
see.
these are construction photos. So
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely. This isn't. I think you said, yeah, good point to make from the start is, you know, when you finish this project and the sun is shining and you clean everything up, you'll get some nice photos on your website.
We'll definitely get you some really nice.
Yeah.
I just really like this backyard.
So that's your cobblestone you were talking about, which is really.
So the color is just a little bit different.
Yep. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Very
simple.
That would have been the pad there for the.
That's where the hot tub will go, and it has a black shell, black cover.
Gotcha.
All the accents are black.
This is the pool.
Fire feature is black as well. It's actually very traditional.
So that's where the fire feature is going to be right there. There's the gas line going in.
Yep.
Cool. And that's built now. So that's the cabana or cool house is built. So this is a really nice image again, showing that brick and your Edison lights. Really, really nice. And then we have that's the pizza oven, I presume. Awesome, beautiful.
And that was local too. That
again,
frame.
Again, very popular. And that's the lighting on the.
Yep.
So
all the furniture has to be. It'll be all set to next year.
Yeah.
And
you were talking a little bit about you know, just what people seem to be going for in pools. So this is on point in terms of you saying rectangular pools.
Yep.
With these kind of side to side wide steps are literally, you know, I go to a lot of sites and I see a lot of, you know, when we're shooting video and stuff.
Yep, and it's just a vinyl overlay that goes over that.
Yes.
Even on both sides on this pool actually. This pool actually has two stair entries going down to I don't probably have a shot of that side.
Gotcha.
It has an automatic cover on it too, so they don't have to.
Nice. Yeah, and that's
becoming solar more blankets.
Yes, and again,
and you don't really.
Yeah, no, it's awesome, and it's another thing that's becoming so much more popular over time as well. Automatic pool covers. For people just.
And you can see all the leaves in there now. Yeah.
Yeah, which is fine. Yeah, exactly. No, that's pretty cool. That's pretty awesome. So when you get this, you know, later in this year, when this project is finished and you get all your nice photos, you can definitely share them with us, and we'd love to post them and remind everybody to.
And at night too, it looks pretty neat at night as well. With the night lighting.
And again, I just want to show people so that's kind of a great overview of the project. Yeah, so we'd really love to see, you know, how this all kind of pans out. Later on, I'd say later on in the year when when you get it done, you get some some nice photos, and the sun starts shining again, which it will. The sun will start shining again.
And we have lots of others.
That's awesome. That's beautiful. That's awesome.
But I would say this is kind of the scope of what we do for size wise and for layering, and this is kind of the scope.
Gotcha. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So that's been really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I must say we've learned a lot about you and your company and what you do, and and if people, what we'll on this video below on the video, we will in the comments section, we will tag your company.
Right.
You know, you're on social media, your website's nice, lots of information there.
It's getting a rework, it's getting an upgrade.
So so I will tag you. We will tag you in the post on this, wherever it is, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, wherever it is. We'll put details of how people can reach out to you. You know, you said before, you're always open for people to kind of reach out if they want some, you know, if they want to talk about a project they have, and kind of go from there, and they can go and explore your work on social or wherever, and see what you guys are up to. So I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, it's been amazing to talk to you today. It's really great. We have several lady designers who we've interviewed, and it's just been great to talk to people and listen to their story of how they got into business, and also kind of how they work. There's a lot of similarities with people, but you know, you can see people have different ways of doing things and have different stamps, and the work is always exciting to us to see what people, how they create, you know, how they get into it, you know. So I really appreciate your time today.
Well, thank you.
I want to wish you the best for this year. Thanks for your time.
Well, thank you.
Thanks for taking your time in a busy schedule. Be careful of your back. Look after yourself. Make sure you do your stretches in the morning.
Hey, age is the age kind of, I don't know.
Catches up on us all.
Giving it all away. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thanks very much, Teri-lyn. It's great
to
talk to you. Take care.
All right.
Thank you very much. Take care. Bye.